So we live. Welcome to another episode of the the Uncensored Philly Sports Podcast. We're here tonight talking about the Sixers. Disappointing night. As the games go on, we're seeing more and more that we miss our superstar player. For all the people that wanted to talk about the Sixers play better without Embiid, they move the ball around better. They this, that, and other. No, there's a reason why he's your superstar player. Um, Tobias tried. Tobias, it was people on here ripping Tobias the other night. Tobias came out and dropped 30 and I think 32 and 10, something like that. Um, the other role players, honestly, they look like, in my opinion, they look like they're a little beat down. I'm not mad at the team, but this is why those games where we lost last week, why I was more animate about those games, because you knew the longer that Embiid stayed out, we would have situations like this. The Pacers came out, was balling, it was knocking shots down. The Sixers battled and tried to come back into it, but that's what I'm saying. Those games last week, when we were at home, we should have pulled at least one or two of those out, and now we're on a 4-game losing streak. What you see so far? What's your initial reaction?
I think we lost our identity for the last week. We lost our identity. We've been known as being a defensive-minded squad, and we lost it without having Thibault on the floor, without having Embiid on the floor. We lost what we come to, because when they are balling, the whole team start playing great defensively, and then so this is we're seeing the results. And like at one point, they were shooting 72% midway through the second quarter. You can't win games like that. And on a podcast, on a broadcast, they were saying the game kind of was won in the second and third quarter. They said it was won early on, and you saw that was the truth. But you can't let nobody shoot 72% from the floor and expect to win. Justin Holiday came and was splashing. He was 7 for 7 in the first half, just ripping us apart. And we didn't have nobody. Danny obviously is still jacked
Danny's
up with
done.
the hamstring.
Danny is done.
So stop, Doc. This is for you, Doc Rivers. Stop starting Danny Green. He is no longer able to play at a high level. You've seen this. Stop starting.
Not even as a role player. Not even as a role player. And listen, I see some of the comments that we should have had more Maxey. I agree, but it's not like they took the ball out of Maxey's hand. Maxey was passing up on certain stuff. He wasn't as aggressive. And then I'm not ripping Maxey, because I honestly, to me, a game like this comes down to when you're shorthanded over a period of time. You know how a player could be missing, excuse me. You know how a player could be missing and everybody steps up, elevates their game, and they can ride out for a couple games. Even in football, you might get it for like a week or two. But at some point, when you're missing one of your top players, it becomes evident. And everybody, like Niang was off. You know what I'm saying? He looks a little bit slower now. Maxey didn't have the same energy, which is expected. You know, he had a big week, and they traveled. So Cork been off the last 3 games.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying I think that this is a trickle down effect of when you don't have your big man. And anybody that says that Tobias Harris 30 points was irrelevant, they would not even have had a chance to be in this game without Tobias points.
But the point they're making logical points. That's what if you notice early in the game, I said Tobias Harris stinks. Remember, I sent that to the group chat in the middle of the game. What you're watching basketball, you're watching him doing all this isolation, and his points are totally irrelevant. They're not. I mean, all right,
but how are they irrelevant? Okay, all right, without his 30 points, do they have any kind of chance to win in the fourth quarter?
Yes, because they probably would start passing the ball more. It wouldn't have got stuck. All right, let me take it. Let me go back. Let me go back at that memory lane. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. Tobias Harris gets a runner. He shoots a runner, misses it, grabs the rebound, and then gets stripped. That pretty much was the game right there.
First of all, Drummond grabbed the rebound, got stripped, and then Tobias tried to pick up the strip that he got, and then
he got stripped. And he got stripped.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is Tobias Harris, if you just sit back and not be a fan of Tobias, just look at it, you'd be like, his points are like they're there. All right, for perfect example. Remember when we drafted Stackhouse with Iverson, and Stackhouse used to get 19, 20 points a game, but
It's not the same situation.
they were never meaningful points. It was like you could do without him. That's Tobias.
See,
That's how
I
I
get,
see Tobias
and I,
Harris.
and I'm not trying to oversell to, but see, you can't do that because then, okay, but you'll come in the next breath and say how Maxey balled out when Maxey has 30 points, even though we lose, and even though he came up short down the end of the games because he was a little tired, or we'll hype up. Seth Curry. Remember last week when certain people was talking about Seth Curry is our closer. He taking people off the ball. Seth Curry is the second best player on the team. Remember all that? Where Seth Curry been the last couple games?
So
So all
Curry,
I'm saying
he
is
needs
for us to sit there and do all this hating on Tobias Harris, he's not the reason we lost. We lost because we could not stop anybody, and
but
because
he can't make
Embiid
us win.
dominates their big men, and without Embiid in there, we had no answer for their big men. Their big men did what they wanted.
Yeah, they sure did. I mean, Miles, what's his Miles? I keep thinking about Miles Davis. What's his name? Miles.
Yeah.
What is his last name? What is his last name? Well,
And
anyway,
it's,
their center ball. He
yeah, I
was
know.
all over. He was shooting. He was like blocking every shot. You know, we couldn't even score on down low. And that's the thing
Yeah.
with Danny Green's height, and then we short up top as well with Seth Curry and Curry and which we call it Maxey being short. You need some type of height in there, and we didn't have anything. No
Yeah, I
height
think
whatsoever.
Danny Green, especially without Embiid, Danny Green is the biggest problem on this team. We need a small forward going forward. We need. I don't know if we have anybody on the roster that could step up and take that position, but we need a starting small forward on this team.
Yep. Man, I mean, what everybody say? Oh, Miles Turner. Thanks for your F you.
Yeah, Myles Turner. I know you threw me off, and I had it right on my tongue, but then when you
I know,
kept
like
following,
Miles
I'm like,
Davis. I can't think of his boy name.
I was like Darius Miles.
Yeah, so like somebody Ramsey can he said Tobias takes too long to take his shot, and this doesn't say the ball gets stuck in his hand, and I'm gonna be the kind of like the same thing. But we need that ball to keep rolling. We need the opposing defense to sit there and keep jumping out. I mean,
but see, I the only reason I disagree with that is because when you have Toby and Embiid, and I don't care if they hold the ball as long as we getting points and we slowing the other team down. With this lineup, with the guys that we have now, yeah, we getting quick shots up and this and that. But when them shots is off and them threes is off, the other team is out the other way and catching us in transition and lighting us up. So I would rather us. I think our team is a better suited team to slow it down. And I do agree. I do like when they swing the ball and stuff around. I can give you that much. But who would you rather? Like look at late in the game. We had Seth Curry try to take an ISO. He did like a step back air ball. Like I'm who and I don't know what the deal was with Maxey. I'm just thinking maybe he was tired. Maybe what I'm saying he's had a tough stretch, a good stretch rather.
he did,
And he still played decent tonight. So I'm not going to sit on here and rip Maxey. I don't think Maxey was the reason we lost.
I think he
But
defers too much to Tobias Harris. To be honest with me, I believe he feels that
did he defer to him too much last game?
He want to stay in his lane because Tobias, this was his first game back last game. I think he's trying to stay in his lane and not offend anybody. Even he mentioned it earlier. He said he wasn't as vocal early on. He's more vocal now. He's like a young boy, but at this point, he kind of got to be like AI, like this is my team.
Thank you,
Stacks. Not playing.
Stacks and just a statistic. Do y'all hear what I'm hearing? People really trying to rip Tobias Harris for the night game.
I agree.
He had 30 and 10.
It's not.
He had 30 and 10. And without Tobias points, we have no shot. We have no shot in the fourth quarter of making it a game without Tobias keeping us in the game.
Let me ask you this. Were the games closer without Tobias when Tobias wasn't in the lineup? Those games were much closer than the ones that we had with the last two games from playing.
How this game we had it down. We had it down to like what? Wasn't it like a 2-point or 4-point game at one point? Or what we get it down to?
6, maybe 5, but perhaps 6. I mean, it's just different. George Niang it seemed like he's coming back down to earth too a little bit.
Yeah, y'all tripping if y'all think Tobias was the problem. Tobias was not the problem, and I agree. I agree with my fault, man. I just closed it out to look at with Dominic. I agree with you. We have absolutely no offense from the center position right now. And when you're center position, you're used to getting, this team is accustomed to getting 25 to 30 points from that center position. And now you're getting what, 12? I listen, I love, and that's the other thing. See, I like Drummond. I love Drummond's game for backup center. I like the way that Niang balls. You know what I'm saying?
Drummond has too many
Shake
layups,
off
though.
the bench. I'm okay with Shake. I'm not Shake disappoints me a lot. All these guys without Embiid have to step their game up. And we saw a little bit, they did a little bit, but when you don't have Embiid in there when you don't have your superstar in there, eventually your role players are doing more than what they're used to doing or more than what they're capable of doing. And I think it caught up to him tonight.
But Drummond, as much as Drummond has so many easy putbacks that he could have gotten, just layups, just misses them constantly. That's, I'm gonna say, at least 8 points, 8 to 10 points tonight. That was easy layups that he just misses, and then he shoots 50% from the free throw line. So for everything good he did, because he's a rebounder, he works hard,
Yeah.
he's relentless. But come on, man, these layups that's just general. That's 101.
But that's why he is our backup. He is our backup. He's not going to be a starting center on a contending team or actually even a playoff team, in my opinion. But if you have him coming off the bench and he's off your bench, absolutely. And spelling a player like Joel Embiid, and he can come in and play physical and do all that against the backups as opposed to doing that against the starters, it makes a world of difference. I need Embiid to be back soon, bro. Like he can't sit out this whole road trip. We in danger
because it's Monday. It'll be 7 days. Bade ain't coming back for at least another week.
Why? He just got test positive. I mean, he got test negative 2 times.
Joel milked everything. He ain't coming back until maybe next Monday.
Stop hating on the boy.
and the boy Isaiah Joe, they say he was available to play. I don't know why Doc felt the need not to play him. We could have sure used his shooting. I mean, they did list him as available for the game.
Hey, and Pooh, Myles, I agree, man. Shaking Korkmaz does make the worst passes, and that's another. That's what it comes down to me is I don't need them playing prominent roles like as a starter or needing to. I don't want to have to need to count on them to play smart and solid to win, and that's the position we've been in the past week. And we saw when Korkmaz could play, and you got Embiid, and you got Tobias, and Maxey, and all these other dudes. Korkmaz could play free, come in, but then when you got to focus on it, and you're needing him, and somebody mentioned in there. I'm sorry, I can't. There's so many messages I ain't see it. Can't see who said it, but I agree. Korkmaz and Seth Curry, which is what I said in previous games, they need Embiid because they can't create and get themselves open like that. Embiid sets picks. We can say Embiid clogs up the floor. He slows down, but Embiid takes up space. He sets picks, and he gets down there and draws other players to him. And then when they kick in and when they draw in and got a double Embiid, you kick the ball around, and these guys get open shots. You're not getting those shots when Drummond is your center.
I think Paul Reed should have played more as well. At this point, we needed some height down low. And how many minutes did Paul Reed get anyway? Because to me, I didn't see enough of him on the floor tonight.
I agree. Well, they tried to bring the young guy Basie in. Excuse me. Hey, Phil, we got Indiana came out stroking the ball. Holiday was like 7 for 7, lighting us up. Like we was getting beat everywhere across the board. The only Maxey was having a solid first half. Tobias was basically carrying the team offensively, and we was getting mopped by like 19. We made a run at it in the third, and we got it down to 10 at the half. We battled and got it kind of a little bit close, a little bit in the fourth, but we just couldn't get over the hump. And that's basically what it was. We didn't have enough firepower.
Sure didn't. Yeah, Paul Reed had 7 minutes. You can't tell me you couldn't give him more than 7 minutes tonight.
I mean, what was he doing? Was he effective?
You're not even working up a sweat in 7 minutes.
Yeah, but okay. I mean, but I'm just asking you. Like honestly, I don't even really recall him doing that. And I like Reed, but I don't really what do to what did he do to put a stamp on this game to make it feel like
what he
you know?
does, what he does well is he offensive rebound, and that's something that he at least we could have got. We was that would have a good opportunity for him to play just to get offensive rebounds or and kicking it back out, giving our players second shot, second chances.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's funny though. I remember people saying I was hating on Niang when I was saying how he's actually been kind of off the past week. He's actually, and I like Niang as that role player. This all I'm saying is because a lot of times we get on here and people get excited, about it. And for the record, I know somebody had said on the last video they said that I'm crazy when I said Maxi. So I wasn't saying that Maxi was Ja Morant. I'm not saying Maxi is Ja Morant. What I'm saying is if Maxi works on his game and gets to the fullest potential that I think he has, I think he can be similar to Ja Morant. I think they have similar games, but Ja Morant is more athletic than him. So that's what I'm saying. That like I'm saying that they have a similar type game. I like Maxi game, and I like the fact that Maxi works on his game and is getting better. But I don't think that he's Ja Morant. But that being said, like who else we got? Like somebody just said, they keying in on our role players now. Like now you can have a dude come in and lock in on Korkmaz because they ain't got to worry about reaching down and helping out somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. You can do that, especially you're not trying to double Drummond at all or anything.
Exactly.
So I get that point. All right, can we talk about TJ McConnell? I mean,
I can't stand his game.
but here's the thing: he was using Maxi down low towards the end of the game. He scored like three or four baskets, not 3 or 4 points, but 3 or 4 baskets on Tyrese Maxey. Maybe he is tired because to me, I like there's no way in the world you're gonna let TJ McConnell get to you because if you watch TJ's game, it's all about spots for him. He doesn't have a real offensive game, but he has the spots to go to. He knows that he could dribble, keep his dribble alive and get to a spot, and he know he's gonna make that shot. I know a lot of people don't game plan for TJ McConnell, but man.
Hey, Phil, let me. All right, I just want to say this. Everybody's talking about what we could have had for Ben. We don't know what we could have had for Ben. Remember, everybody was talking about Jaylen Brown. What man? He tripping. We could have had Jaylen Brown for Ben. No, we couldn't. No, we couldn't. The GM came out and said that he told Jaylen when the rumors was floating, like, ain't nothing to it. Don't worry. They were not trading Jaylen. They were not. And I don't think that they was going to give us a bonus and Brogdon for him. Maybe they were. But to me, just because we hear rumors about what Ben, I do believe that a lot of teams want Ben Simmons. But the same way we look at Ben Simmons and see that he's not worth this, that, and the other, those teams is looking at him like, we ain't giving you all that for him.
But Ben, here's the thing though. Ben has 4 years, was 3 and 4, but after this year is going to be 3. But he's on a 4-year deal, so his deal looks attractive to teams that want a star like player to come to that team. Little towns like Indiana, he might fit in well. That might be perfect for him to go to Indiana. That's a small market.
Yeah,
the Kings
okay, maybe perfect for him, but it might not be for them.
But they may want that draw. Okay, we got Ben Simmons in our home.
We
got him
Ben Simmons ain't no draw. What do y'all think? Ben Simmons ain't no name that's bringing people to the
regardless of what you think, Ben Simmons is still a draw as far as popularity in the
as far as drama. As far as drama, yes. But as far as ain't nobody saying, I gotta go buy a ticket to go watch Ben Simmons play. Ain't nobody saying that. Ain't nobody been saying that for like 3 years. Stop.
I'm not here to defend Ben tonight.
And I'm not saying that Ben. I don't agree with people that say Ben is complete trash. I don't think that he is. I do think that Ben has value on the basketball court, but I'm not looking at Ben Simmons as some superstar or some star type player. I don't see him as that. I see him as a very good role player on the team. Not saying like a little on a bench role. Like I see him as he can be a starting role player on a team that can win. But I don't see him as this great star.
He has the potential to be, and if people, all you need is one general manager. All you need is one GM.
Stop.
If you get one GM to buy in, like, listen, I believe I can unlock what he's missing.
Meanwhile, Maxi's been here for one off season because he really ain't had no off season last year. He's been here for one off season, and his game has already grown leaps and bounds. Ben Simmons been here 5 years, and what has he done?
But you see, that's just proper preparation. You see what's going on with Maxi. I'm not here to hate on Maxi at all. Ben, and one thing his agent Rich Paul earlier this week. He said Ben finally realized that he does have mental health issues. It's like before he was trying to fake the funk. He was faking the funk. So at least now,
First of all, even that, with that, who wants to see? First of all, this is one of the main things we talk about in sports, right? One of the main thing that makes the great players a great what they it used to be. I don't know how many of y'all remember the commercial used to come on for the football game, and they used to be like, when the game is on the line, the great ones enter the comfort zone, and they talk about like Joe Montana and them, like the great ones when that game is when they're getting down that point, the great ones step up and they get comfortable.
yeah,
So that's always the thing with sports is who balls like in the playoffs when the game is big, who's stepping up to the moment. So now if you're talking about you can't even not even talk about handling the moment of the big games, you're talking about how you're mentally frazzled in preseason, even to be around a team. And don't nobody want that.
here's the thing.
Especially when you're showing marginal growth in your physical game.
I agree with that, but there's if his mind, if there's a block right there. And we've seen the block in the playoffs. We've seen the block. So what we're saying is, it might be a general manager like this. So let's get this man help because the talent is there. The boy is
So it's always
talented.
somebody else. It's always somebody else's fault, not Ben's.
All I care about is to get the value for him. Like, okay, well, let's get rid of Ben. Well, give us one of your good players that you have that's going to help us win it all.
Right. Yeah, Dominic, he ain't know about the mental health part until after his back was hurting. Or it's funny how, you know what? No, honestly though, I can relate with Ben though, because me being a struggling poor black man, I do understand if somebody take my paycheck, I will have mental problems too. I might get mentally fried too. So, but Ben, that's what happens when you don't work.
All
so
right.
that's why I go to work, so I don't have to worry about that. So
you've been playing basketball all your life, and you know one thing about it: you like to score, you like to shoot. You know, if a person who refuses to shoot and been told to shoot and has not shot the ball,
he's never liked to shoot. He likes to pass.
You know,
he likes to pass. He likes to dunk.
There's an issue. Got to be something mentally. Something's wrong there. It has to be.
So what? That's not no. Whoa. First of all, there's a difference between mental health and a mental block. He doesn't have. I don't think he has mental health issues. So I think he has a mental block. I don't think that that's a health issue. I think that that's just him shrinking.
I see Phillies, Eagles, the Uncensored Sports Podcast, all those things in the back of you, but I don't see a psychologist degree. I don't see a psychology degree behind it.
I'm gonna tell you, you know what gave me my psychologist degree? My 4 kids. Me growing up and going through all that.
No, I'm just saying.
And being the oldest of 6 siblings, that's my psychologist degree.
Oh, so I didn't have you talking about the school. You went to the school hard knocks then. The school hard knocks.
Me having to deal with you on a daily basis. That's my degree.
Here we go. What y'all talking about?
Hey, assassin. Listen, ain't it funny? Let me ask you, Tim, how many points did McConnell have tonight?
I don't know. I think he had like 8.
Hey, and everybody on here hype. This is the same thing they did when he was in Philly. TJ McConnell, the heart and soul. He's the backbone of the Sixers. Look at TJ come on. Look at TJ crawl on the ground. You see what TJ did? You see TJ pump his chest? All that. And he had like 5 points, 8 points.
8 points.
Stop the hype.
But he had 9 assists.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
He had 8 points, 9 assists. But the thing is, he had clutch shots down the stretch. That's what it was. So down the stretch, he was giving it to Maxey. He was going to his spots on the floor. I mean, he found a way to hustle the NBA, and he learned.
Oh, I am not mad at. So let me make this clear. I'm not mad at TJ McConnell's hustle. He worked hard. He did. He worked hard to earn his 5 points a game for his career and stuff like that. It might be up a little bit now, but
yeah.
He did. He fleeced the system. And I'm not mad at him at it. I'm not mad at anybody that can fleece the system. He fleeced the system. He did what he needed to do to stick around in the NBA and earn a check. I'm not mad at him for doing that. But don't come on here and tell me about how much he hustled, how much he did this, and how important he is to a team. Because he's not. He's a typical role player that brings some energy, but he still can't shoot a lick.
I know. Well, he was trying. It's like it do seem like he take it personal when he playing against the Sixers. Like he just a little extra seems that way. But we as far as our defenders, Ben is one of our top defenders. Dybul is
I agree.
B. We miss it, and even Danny Green to some extent, especially early on last year. We didn't have none of that this game at all. So that's what you're missing. We missing our defense, and then again, I Tobias to me, the ball gets lost. The ball gets lost. He does a lot of one-on-one, a lot of isolation, and
But was he scoring? Was he scoring?
it's not. It doesn't. What does it get us? So for real,
So
what
who? Did, so
what
who did? Okay. So what did it get us when Maxi scored 30?
is the difference? It's a
What's the
difference.
difference? Because you was hype
Not
about Maxi's 30. I was excited about it too. So how are we excited about Maxi getting his 30? But here Tobias gets you 30 and 10, and it's like, it was irrelevant. It was it like stop.
I'm just
Stop.
saying, if anybody that knows, if you watch Tobias' game, really analyze it. He does not elevate this team. It's not like he could put us on his back and lead us to victories. He's just
He
a
has before. He
he's a
has.
he's a decent. He's just a decent
Has
player.
Maxi has Maxi put us on his back and elevated us to victory?
Yeah,
When?
early on,
When?
early on this year. I mean, don't get me
When?
wrong,
Are you when we had B?
but MB hasn't been
See,
having
listen, I'm only saying that, and I'm not ripping Maxi. I'm just saying that to say, see, this is what we do as a fan base sometimes. We have our favorite players. And so it's certain dudes that we can't stand. So it's like in the back, we might be thinking like we don't want him to do well. And even if he do well, it's like, but it was this, that, and other. But then another guy that we really like, it's like, yo, he balled out. He did this, he did that. And they may have similar games, similar results, but it's because we like one player better than the other. Me personally, I try not to have that type of bias. That's just like Ben Simmons to me. I do think that we would be a better team with Ben Simmons if Ben Simmons wanted to play.
yeah.
But the fact that his whole mental makeup makes it where though, no, we wouldn't be a better team with him. So we do need to find something to replace him and everything else. So I get that, but I'm not going to sit up here and say, in my opinion, Ben Simmons is not completely useless on a team. I just think that he has a role to play, and don't try to make him
And
defeat
that's
you.
I feel the same way about Tobias. He has a role, but don't try to make him like he's the star. Yo, Stacks 211.
I'm not saying Tobias is a
I
star. He is a role. You're right.
but Stacks that new blowing the whistle late.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't understand this at all. I mean, I thought I was watching the game on delay. I'm like, well, what's going on? All of a sudden, I'm seeing them put their hand up, but then all of a sudden the whistle goes. I'm like, are the commentators, are they, because they don't travel with the team anymore, which I don't get. Man, they're just watching the game on TV like we are, and then just calling the game that way. So I think, I guess with the whole COVID, they don't travel with the team anymore. But man, this delay whistle is just, it's weird. I feel like I'm watching it on delay, the game on delay.
I'm trying to understand, right? All right, like Ron, you said Tobias has bad chemistry with the team. A lot of people saying that Tobias wasn't playing with the team, the rhythm of the team just changed, trying to get him tonight. This that. I don't necessarily agree with that. So his rhythm is the reason why Korkmaz was shooting 2 for 18 the other night. He didn't stop Korkmaz from getting shots the other night
It's
when he came back.
this is the rhythm of the team. It's the
The
rhythm.
rhythm. What's
It's
the rhythm? How about we analyze this as the Sixers are usually a better team at home. And they played those first, 3 games at home where they played better. And that's why I thought they should have came out with at least 2 wins out of that 3 games at home. They should have got at least 2 of them. They at home, they should have won that. Now you're traveling and you're on the road against a team that plays you tough usually. And now everybody want to put it on Tobias. Was Tobias Harris the problem with us last year when we was the number 1 seed? Was Tobias in the way in a couple of those games last year where Tobias carried us and actually won game winners in certain parts of the season? Was Tobias Harris the problem? Like stop trying to make it is what it is. We just miss Embiid. We're just
No,
missing Embiid. Stop trying to
we're
rip
missing
everybody. We
Embiid.
was an
We're,
8-2 team before he left.
here's the difference between Tobias and like your second tier player. Like Embiid is always going to be our first tier player. We get that. Tobias falls not as the second tier, but just as a player within the team. We need our Chris Middleton. He's not our Chris Middleton. You know how Giannis has his Chris Middleton. So if Giannis is off, Chris can carry us. Tobias doesn't carry us. I don't feel like Okay, don't worry about it. You can sit this out, big boy. He's not.
So, so,
He's
so,
just.
so was Middleton doing all this carrying before last season?
I'm so
Because,
we're
as
talking,
I remember,
but
we.
Tobias has been with us more than one season, and that's
No,
he's
I get that, and I'm not, and I agree. I
and
want more from Tobias. I would like more from Tobias Harris. But Tobias, sometimes a player is what he is. So I'm looking at Tobias for what he is. For what he is, a guy that can get you 19, 20 points and 10
yeah,
rebounds, he ain't gonna average 10, but like 9 rebounds and stuff like that. I think Tobias Harris is a very valuable player
and
to
that's
this team.
not
Everybody,
enough for
and
us
we're
to
talking,
win the championship.
but it before Embiid left, we were 8-2. 8 and
Yes,
2. So once Embiid left, now all of a sudden it's not enough. You was even saying yourself that you thought that we was like a top 2 team in the league. So now Embiid misses a few games and we lose a few games, and now it's like, oh, we all stink. We stink. That's just
I
how
didn't
good
say we
Embiid
stink.
is.
I'm just saying, think about it. These regular season games is cool. We love the regular season games, but bottom line is everything's going to come down to what we do in the playoffs. Is who's going to take us, who's going to get us over the hump in the second round of the playoffs. Clearly, it's not going to be Ben. B struggles. B needs help. Joel needs help. Tobias has been here. We haven't won with Tobias. We haven't won.
We
So my
haven't won
point,
with none of them. We haven't won with any of them.
but we need Tobias to step
Tobias is not
up.
our problem. He's not our problem.
He's not the solution.
Okay.
So
But okay, all right, all right. So this my thing, and everybody that want to sit in here and talk about trade Tobias. This I go with the same thing when people say trade Ben Simmons for just trade him. What are you getting back? Because if you're saying we do have good pieces, but we just would like to add on, that's the same way when people talk about something. Yeah, Boston to get rid of Jaylen Brown. They'll get Jaylen Brown up for this. No, Boston know that they have 2 guys that's right there on the precipice of stardom in Tatum and Brown. 2 guys
yeah,
that are ready to take the next level. So they want to add to that. That's why they went and got Kemba, hoping Kemba was that.
exactly.
That's why they wanted Ben, because they figured Ben could add to that. They're not going to give you, but see, as Sixers fans, now we're saying, get rid of Tobias. Let's just get rid of Tobias. What are you bringing in for Tobias? What are you bringing in for Tobias Harris? That's going to make us better than what we are.
That's Maury's job. We're identifying the issue. That's, as fans, that's what we do. We identify the issue. The issue is, like you said, Boston has 2 premier players that they can go to at any given point. They can go to Jaylen Brown, they can go to Jason Tatum. That's their 2-star players. Some say one is better than the other. When it comes to Embiid, it's always Embiid, and then there's a significant drop to the next person.
They called Ben a star player. He was all-star, right?
But as far as offensively and giving us what we need, Ben hasn't stepped up to where we need him to be. That's why we keep getting these second round exits.
And people thought listen.
All right. So is Tobias that second player then? Is Tobias that, since you capable for him? Is Tobias that second player that we need? That in the event that Embiid's not on his game, or if Embiid needs to take it down, or is he hurt for a game? Is Tobias that second player? Is he a Chris Middleton?
He did do it in spots last year. Yes.
Is he Chris Middleton?
No, well, not after how Chris Middleton balled out last year. No, I can't say that.
And that's the point.
He balled out last year in the playoffs.
That's my point that I'm making. We need.
That's the 1 year. The 1 year he balled out in the playoffs. Yes.
That's the 1 year they won an NBA title.
Okay, I get that, but see, this is the whole thing I'm saying, and I do agree, Phil, that Tobias, who's not inconsistent on the Sixers other than Embiid? Is Seth Curry inconsistent? Is Maxey inconsistent? The whole team is inconsistent. So I mean, and when you talk about somebody consistency, you know what you base that on when you go see. Sometimes we look at stuff when we're looking at our team and we see what they do. Look at his stats throughout the season. See, we'll sit there and talk about our guys being inconsistent. Other team guys are inconsistent too. That's why you have the law of averages, and you go by that average because that gives you a good idea of what they get, what their output is as a whole on average. So that's all I'm saying with that. And a Roostock Tom, I agree with you. Everybody real quick to want to, and everybody talking about the free agent of Tobias Harris money, this, that, and other. That don't matter. We don't get free agents to come in here. Big time free agents don't come here. We get guys the same way we got Tobias, which was you trade for them and then you sign them to stay here, or we draft them and sign them to stay here. You don't get big free agents.
We'll see, because James Harden gonna be a free agent after this year. Maybe he'll be the one to come.
We'll see. Yeah, he'll probably be washed and done by then. and then come here. That's the Philly way.
He might got
Go pay for
another.
name.
He probably got a good 2, 3 years left in the league.
I mean,
In
I'll
a
take
high
Hard
level.
Harris.
And
But that's even the other thing. Tobias got what the market demanded for him. That's what Tobias got was what the market demanded.
but let me ask you: did the market really demand that for him? I mean,
Yes, he was going to get
nobody.
that money from somebody. Yes.
I don't think nobody was going to offer him that the max. He might have got over 100 million, but
Well, he
who?
wasn't going to get what the Sixers gave him because the Sixers was able to pay him that because he was on their team.
And so my point is that I think we rushed the judgment. I think we could have just took. I'd rather take that L and save that money for another max
For
contract.
what? Who would you going to save the money for? Who would you going to spend that money on in off season?
I don't care, just not him.
See, that's what I'm. See, now you sound like the same people you
But
can't stand that hate on.
You don't have if it's a player that's not out there, you don't have to give him that money. You don't have to go max. Everybody's not at the spending 160, 150 million dollars.
Didn't the dude what's the dude for Atlanta? Didn't he just get the max contract when Atlanta first said they wasn't going to give it to him?
Yeah.
You think he's a max player?
Which because they offer $84 million to what's the bull name that he blew it, and he's in Boston now playing on a 6-year, $6 million.
Okay,
deal.
but no. But he wasn't considered a big time player. The dude for Atlanta got a max contract. Do you think that he's better than Tobias Harris?
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
And what is he doing this year? And what is his team doing this year?
Would I take him over Tobias Harris? The answer is absolutely. What's his name again?
Exactly. What's his name again? Exactly.
What's his? Well, y'all know him. The boy in the chat. The boy Collins, Jason Collins. Would I take him over Tobias Harris? At least he's an athletic player. Much more athletic.
What's his average? What's his averaging?
We can get his average. I mean,
go ahead. Show me his averages.
All right. What they play? Go ahead. Don't have what they saying in the let's see, score standings. So he playing for Atlanta.
Oh, he had 26 points last night.
Okay. So you hating on him?
He had 26 points last night in the loss to Denver. He had 26, 20. Oh, he balled the last two games, 26, 28. But then he had 13, 7, 16, 12, 8, 19. You know, he's averaging 16 points a game this year. Is he a max player? He's averaging 16 points and 8 rebounds and 2 assists. Is he a max player?
You asked me would I take him over Tobias?
But no, but I'm saying the same.
Yes,
if
that's
you're
what
telling me. Tobias is not, but I'm telling you that's the value of what these guys get. That's the value of what these guys get. According to the market, he was a max player. The same thing was with Tobias.
John Collins. So what I like about him, he's taller than Tobias. And to me, he got a way better upside than Tobias.
How tall is Tobias? Tobias 6'8", John Collins 6'9".
Tobias like 6'7".
No, he ain't. Stop.
He about 6'7". He about 6'7".
See, listen, that's all I only used him just to say this is what the market is. A player is what the market says that they are. Like we can say somebody's overpaid and he's just that another. But if that's what the market is playing a player that's on that level, then that's the market. Now, Ben Simmons was overpaid because he didn't show himself to be. They strictly paid Ben Simmons on potential. That's strictly what they paid him big money for, saying, well, he has the potential to do that. When they paid Tobias his money, they paid him for what he was. And when they paid Collins is for what he was. I'm just saying Tobias ain't the one to hate. Tobias ain't the one that's bringing us down. We just missed our star, and this is why I was upset with the couple games last week when Tobias didn't play either. And I do agree with you and with a lot of the the people checking in. We miss Max. I mean, we miss Steibel. We do miss that defense. At least because Danny's not really giving us nothing offensively, but at least if we have Steibel, you have that superstar level defense being played. For the most part. So we miss them. We miss the guys that aren't here. We miss having our full team.
Well, I absolutely agree. What do you think about Doc's coaching today? You think it was okay?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what was he supposed to do. You had Drummond in there. Drummond was too slow to stay with the guys. They're big men. But then when you take Drummond out, we was too small to stop anything going inside.
Yeah.
We was outmatched today. Honestly, we was at. And Embiid usually has a pretty good game against Myles. He actually Myles is one of them dudes. Embiid usually has his number. You know what I'm saying? And when we played them in the past, a lot of times Ben Simmons might play against a bonus. So they just outmatched us on the size this game. I like their big man Myles is more skillful
Which is why I
offensively.
kept saying play the ball Paul Reed more than 7 minutes if you know that we are significantly shorter than the opposing team, and then you got small guards up top. We can get away with the small guards up top because Embiid is usually in the middle. Tonight he wasn't in the middle. Right now you got Drummond who doesn't do well rotating outside. So right now you just got the boy Justin Holiday just bombing away. You had Myles
Yeah.
Turner, you had Sabonis. I mean, everybody was just doing whatever they wanted to do, which is why they shot over 72% from the floor in the first half.
I mean, I get it, and that's just the way it is sometimes. When you, honestly, I would expect that Indiana would have won this game. I thought we had a better chance to win the games when we played at home. I thought, when you're overworking trying to cover for such a big loss in the middle, and eventually that catches up to your team, and that's what it looked like. And to the Sixers' credit, they fought back, made a run at it. Tobias helped keep them in the game. Maxi helped
Tobias,
keep them in the game, but they didn't have
Tobias,
help.
I still think we could do better. If anything, if I'm shopping somebody, I'm gonna shop Tobias Harris. I'm
For
gonna shop
what
it.
though? You saying shop them for what? What's the upgrade you're going to get over Tobias Harris?
That's
And,
that's what I'm saying. The Eagles, the Sixers, they're brass. I'm assuming that they're a lot smarter than us. I'm sure that they could find
and
a
guess what?
player.
You know what? I'll agree with you. They're a lot smarter than us, and maybe that's why they're keeping Tobias Harris instead of just throwing him away like y'all want him to.
Now, sometimes they do stuff, dumb stuff.
Oh, now you just said they smarter than
I just
us.
say I'm hoping that they can make the decision to go out there and find us
Come
a.
on, man. You gotta be consistent. You gotta be consistent.
All right, we're gonna wrap this show up today. Sixers lose
Oh,
their
and real
fourth.
quick, so far on your thing, what did it say? 67% said no, they wouldn't take John Collins over Tobias.
Yeah, so far we did a poll saying would you take John Collins, and right now some idiots out there, some fools. Hey, don't forget to vote. We're about to close this thing down. Make sure y'all vote as far as who y'all take. I
I do
personally,
agree. I agree, Phil. I do need Tobias to step up. I agree. I just don't think that he's the same way some people think Ben is useless, and some people want to say like Tobias is useless. I don't agree with that. I just don't think you know.
somebody said
My,
somebody said as a Pacers fan, we would gladly take Tobias Harris.
exactly.
Like you gotta give us
I remember Atlanta fans was talking about Collins like that, like he ain't worth that. He ain't worth that. That sometimes that's the problem. We're looking at it as Sixers fans, and we see these guys every day. You see their flaws. I'm saying it's
yeah.
sort of like the dude that might have his wife, he go home, his wife at 8 or 9, and he go home, but he see her every day. So he see her flaws. He see when she wake up, got bags under eyes, but then he see the joint at the store, and for real, she only like a 7. But every time he see her, she dialed up. And it's like, yeah, see, sweet. That's what people do. Grass is always green. Well, it always appears to be greener.
Well, I'll take Justin Holiday for Tobias Harris. So
Justin, who the dude from the night?
yeah, he killed us.
Yeah, tonight. See that? See, never mind. I ain't even gonna get.
Or what's the boy that they got? TJ. What's the other TJ on that team now?
Oh, TJ Warren.
He ain't played in over a year. If he was healthy, I would
Mm-hmm.
take a healthy TJ Warren over Tobias in a heartbeat.
TJ, I don't know. TJ Warren ain't really showed me nothing except for when he was in the bubble. He might have been one of them bubble dudes.
I mean, he always played the Sixers well though. But yo, it was good. Thanks for joining us tonight. Next week is gonna be rough. We're gonna be on late due to the fact that they got those West Coast games. They're gonna be playing Utah, and they're gonna play a couple of other games. So we're gonna be on late. So we're gonna need y'all to help. Y'all gonna help us get through this thing. But don't forget to like, comment, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you can get us when we've gone